What's up YouTube, it's Zapdos TCG here and welcome to another deck profile video on my channel. In this particular deck profile, we're just gonna visit Lycanroc with Buzzwole. You might seen this deck fly by a couple of weeks ago on a TCG online match, and if you remember, this deck did incredibly good, even wrecked things like Gardevoir. So, why is this deck good? You'll learn every single card in the deck in this video, so stick around, grab yourself some popcorn, a soda, and let's just get straight onto the deck list. We are gonna run 3 copies of Buzzwole-GX. Why is Buzzwole-GX so good? If you have not heard about Buzzwole-GX, you've been living under a rock, because Buzzwole pretty much racks up the most popular GX in the format, which is it is Zoroark GX. Zoroark GX is everywhere. We are a fighting type. We destroy Zoroark GX. That's how it goes. It has the first attack, dealing 30 damage to the active and 30 damage to the bench, as the attack is called Jet Punch. We are punching everyone with that particular attack, and with things like a strong energy and a Regirock-EX that has an ability to boost the damage output, we are actually destroying every weak basic Pokemon. Rolls has 60 HP, Beldum has 60 HP, Alolan Vulpix has 60 HP, Rowlet has 60 HP, Rockruff has 60 HP. I could keep going, but you get the point. When we get a strong energy and Regirock-EX on the bench, we just smack everything in our path with Jet Punch, and even dealing 30 damage to a bench Pokemon. It also has the attack Knuckle Impact, dealing 160 damage to the opponent's active Pokemon. With Choice Band, we're already having a great thing here, because Choice Band adds it up to 190, and with a simple strong energy, boom, you get the numbers correctly here. We're actually dealing 210, which is enough to knock things out like Golisopod GX and more. So also it is weak to Psychic, so Garbodor might just smack you around with Trash Challenge, but don't worry about that. Garbodor has been seeing a decline in play as of late. As when I started, I actually recorded this video. It also has a GX move, Absorption GX. It looks like it's gonna absorb things. Well, that's not the case. It just deals 60 damage, actually 40 damage for every of your remaining prize cards, which can add up to 240 damage in the early game. So, in the early game, if you get a bunch of Max Laxers onto your Buzzwole, you might just surprise everyone with Absorption GX. But talking about GXs, we're also gonna run another GX in this particular list. You might have guessed it, it is Lycanroc. Lycanroc and Rockruff. I do suggest running the Rockruffs with the attack Corner, because Corner can just leave opponents stuck in the active position. Really great against things like Metagross, also things with free retreat like Tapu Koko Flying Flip. Once you use that attack Corner, they are stuck and they cannot retreat during that turn. They will have to rely on things like Guzma. So definitely a great Rockruff version here. There's also a Sun and Moon promo one that can dish out some damage, but this one is a little bit better in my opinion. So, now to Lycanroc GX, 200 HP, and also is weak to... Nope, it's not weak to Psychic, it is weak to Grass. So you have 2 weaknesses, which is always great in a deck. This particular Lycanroc GX, you also have a midday form, but the midnight form is obviously way better. It has the ability Bloodthirsty Eyes. If you are familiar with an old supporter card called Lysander, well, it's exactly that. Once you evolve your little Rockruff into a Lycanroc GX, you can just drag something of the opponent's bench to the active position, which is great to just smack some more damage with Buzzwole, or just taking it to the active position and knocking it out, because it has crazy attacks, this Lycanroc GX. Lycanroc GX has the attack Claw Slash, dealing 110 damage. This might not seem a lot, but with a strong energy, you're having 130 damage, which is great to knock things out like Greninja. Also, Volcanion has 130 HP, so not the worst attack in the world. The GX move, however, is crazy. This GX move deals 50 damage for every of your opponent's bench Pokemon. You might think, wow, isn't that Silvally GX's attack? Well, yeah, it's the exact same thing like Rebel GX, but Lycanroc GX is the original creator of the attack. Dangerous Rogue GX is so dangerous that the opponent will just leave some bench space open because they are afraid of this GX move. Also, if they use Bridget in the early phases of the game, you're already saying like, yes, I'm gonna have a one-hit KO pretty soon. So, Lycanroc GX, a 2-2 line, maybe adding a third Rockruff could be nice, but it's all depending on your preference. Next up, Regirock-EX. Regirock-EX is awesome. It has an ability that just boosts the damage output of all your fighting types by 10. So you're dealing an additional 10 damage if you have a Regirock out. This also stacks, so if you manage to get 2 copies out, you're actually dealing an additional 20 damage. But I'm just having only one Regirock in this particular deck. I think it's efficient. It might be priced at certain points in time, but whatever. Things happen, right? So, why is Regirock so good? Just add the numbers up here. Buzzwole with a strong energy and this awesome Regirock-EX will deal 60 damage to the active and 30 to the bench, and as mentioned, all these weak basics will go down that have 60 HP. Awesome, right? So Regirock definitely an inclusion in here. So next up is a 1-1 line of Carbink BREAK. We have this little Carbink that has an ability that prevents the opponent from just discarding your basic energy, so no things like Crushing Hammer on your basic energies. However, the special energies like Strong Energies are still vulnerable to things like Enhanced Hammer and the Kartana GX that has the Slice Off ability. Okay, this is it evolves to Carbink Break, and Carbink Break is actually really fun. It has an attack, Diamond Grit, which deals 20 damage, which might not seem a lot, but then you can just attach 2 energies from your discard pile and attach them to one of your Pokemon. This is just saying energy card, so you can just attach 2 strong energies if you want. You can attach a basic energy and a strong energy. It all, if it's an energy, you can attach it. You can attach 2 energies. So the good thing is, in the late game, when you don't have a lot of resources left, Carbink Break can be that prize raise Pokemon that you can steal games with. So you can use Carbink Break, just let it sacrifice, let it die, and just attach some energies on a Buzzwole or a Lycanroc to finish off the game. So a 1-1 line is efficient. We're running 3 copies of Brooklet Hill, so getting this out is quite easy. So just if they're both priced, don't even bother with it, or if the break is priced, don't bother with it. So just check your deck first with Brooklet Hill and just get it out if you want to. Next is another 1-1 line, and that is a Octillery line, a 1-1 line. Why only a 1-1 line? Because sometimes you don't even need Octillery. Buzzwole is just so aggressive that in the early phases of the game you take a lot of prize cards. Octillery is just for the late game to prevent things like N. So a 1-1 line, you can add it up to a 2-1 line if you prefer, or just drop the Carbink line entirely. But I think having these 2 1-1 lines is just great. Sometimes you get your Octillery out, sometimes you get your Carbink Break out. Both are just great. If you're in a late game, just use Carbink Break, get some energies while you're just making yourself a threat with Buzzwole or Lycanroc. If you got End, you can also get out Octillery, grab yourself some more cards. So it all depends on the particular matchup. Next up, an Espeon-EX. Espeon-EX, if you have not heard about it, just has the miraculous shine to devolve every one of your opponent's Pokemon. Really dangerous against things that evolve with rare candy. Think about Vikavolt, think about the Decidueye. If they evolve with rare candy and you devolve them, boom! They have to rely on rare candy once again. But the good part is that Buzzwole snipes a ton of damage around, and then you can just devolve everything once they are in a one-hit KO range. Just say you're dealing 60 damage on the Decidueye GX. You devolve it, and it came from a little Rowlet and rare candy. Well, if it has 60 damage on the Decidueye, it dies. You only get 1 prize card though, because the evolution cards go back in the hand. But it's great to get rid of threats. Definitely great against Gardevoir GX as well. So 1 copy of Espeon-EX. And then we're gonna have, okay, the consistency is here. 3 Tapu Lele, hooray! Tapu Lele is in every deck. In this version, we're running 3 copies because we are not running anything like a Bridget. We just want to have that first turn aggressive turn where we just use all of our cards, use Brooklet Hill, get a Remoraid into play, or maybe a Carbink, set up some stuff on the bench, and then use Tapu Lele and Sycamore, just being really aggressive. 3 copies of the Tapu Lele also make sure that if we want the Guzma, we can grab a Guzma. We also have a Rescue Stretcher, which I'm gonna talk about later, so you can just grab your Lele from whatever point at the game you like and just grab the supporter of choice. And talking about supporters, that is something we're gonna go through right now, so I'm just gonna clean this mess up. So Buzzwole, Lycanroc, definitely a great thing. These are all the Pokemon you want. So if you have noted that down, let's just go to the supporters. The supporters. We're gonna run 4 Sycamore. Sycamore is the most aggressive draw supporter in the entire format, so we're gonna run that. We are not afraid to discard some resources. We have Rescue Stretcher, so that's good. Okay, next up, 4 copies of N. N again is great. In the late game, you can just slow down your opponent if they already took a lot of prize cards. In the early phases of the game, you can grab yourself a fresh hand of 6 or 5, whatever the board state is. Next up, Guzma. Guzma is an awesome Pokemon. And let's just grab myself my water here because my throat is getting a little bit sore. Okay, Guzma. Guzma is the best supporter for this deck. You are so aggressive early phases of the game with Jet Punch, you Jet Punch around and just make yourself in a way where you can just devolve with Espeon-EX. Guzma is also great because Zoroark is weak to fighting. If they say like, oh, I'm not gonna just put my Zoroark in the active position, bam, Guzma down, boom, it's over. So great things like that. Also, Guzma is just perfect to just get your last prize cards because sometimes you just use your Guzma, knock out another GX with one of your GX moves and boom, you win the game. So 4 copies of Guzmas is a must because sometimes we are aggressive with Sycamore and discard one of our Guzmas. So 4 Guzmas is a must. Next up, the supporters are done actually. This is the only supporters we're gonna run. So how convenient is that? 4 Sycamore, 4 N, and 4 Guzma. So pretty standard here. Next up, I'm gonna talk about the stadium card of choice. We're gonna run 3 copies of Brooklet Hill. The reason that we're not running any kind of Bridget is because we're gonna rely on Brooklet Hill. We're just gonna be so aggressively draw into that Brooklet Hill and just set up from there, because every single turn we can grab a water type or a fighting type, a basic Pokemon, and just put it on the bench. Really great for your Carbink, your Buzzwole, your Rockruff, your Remoraid. I could keep going. Actually, I could not, because those are the only basic Pokemon we can get out. Also Regirock, yeah. You can get out anything you want if it's a basic and it's a fighting or a water type, and just put it on the bench. So 3 copies of Brooklet Hill over things like a first turn Bridget. Okay, next up, the items. 4 copies of Ultra Ball, the best draw engine in the entire game. We can grab a Lele with that. We can grab a Pokemon evolution line like Lycanroc. We can grab a Carbink Break, an Octillery. So really great, running 4 copies. So this is yeah, kind of consistent. We're also running 4 Max Elixirs. Max Elixirs are awesome. We can get a bunch of energies onto our basic Pokemon if we have a little bit of luck on our side, and just smack around with Buzzwole if we can get that knuckle impact going on. Also works pretty well on Rockruff. Just hold on by evolving it, and Max Elixir will work on Rockruff. Alright, next, 3 Choice Band. Choice Band is awesome to boost the damage output by 30 on EXs and GXs. If the opponent is a GX or an EX, smack 30 extra damage, it's good. Next up, 3 copies of Field Blower. Actually, no, not Field Blower, it's Floatstone. Floatstone makes it so we have a free retreat if we have this attached. Great for things like Octillery. Regirock has a huge retreat cost. Also, you just have yourself a great way. If you have a Floatstone attached to something and you have a Guzma, you don't get the side effect of switching. You can just manual retreat thanks to that Floatstone after you've used that Guzma. So awesome 3 copies of Field Blower, actually Floatstone, because sometimes you start and bang, you start with a Regirock or an Espeon and you say like, damn, I want the first attachment on Buzzwole so I can smack. So 3 copies of the Floatstone. Then 1 copy of Field Blower. This is something I'm not sure about. Maybe you can just add it up to 2 copies of Field Blower, but I do think that this deck only needs 1 Field Blower because you're just so aggressive. You don't care that the opponent has stuff, tool cards attached. You just smack them and they're knocked out straight from the bat. Next up, this Rescue Stretcher is awesome because we do run a 1-1 line of Carbink Break and a 1-1 line of Octillery. This is not good at all because sometimes you just sycamore away one piece of the puzzle, like a Carbink Break or an Octillery. With Rescue Stretcher, you can easily grab them back, so that's why there's 1 copy of that in here. You can just do something entirely different, add a second Field Blower to get rid of the Carbink line. It's all up to you, but this is just an idea of to get started with this kind of deck. Alright, and to finish off the deck profile, we have the energies. We're gonna run 9 of these basic fighting energies. The good thing is that Carbink Break is out. Actually, the Carbink, the regular one, these cannot get discarded by anything. Not by the Crushing Hammer, they're safe, so that's cool. And also 4 strong energies. These 4 strong energies are great. Let me just give you an example. We have Buzzwole. We have a strong energy. That is already dealing 50 to the active, 30 to the bench. If we just slap ourselves our Regirock on the bench, we're dealing 60 to the active, 30 to the bench. If we have the Choice Band attached, we are dealing 90 on the active and 30 on the bench. So things get crazy with this kind of shenanigans, so definitely test it out if you want to have yourself some raw fighting power. Anyway, this was the deck. Hopefully you enjoyed me telling about this deck, because this deck is quite good. Test it out at your local league. Weaknesses it has: it is weak to grass, so things like Golisopod can eat up your Lycanroc GXs. It is weak to Psychic, so Garbodor might be a problem. Also Garbodor with Garbotoxin shuts down the ability of Octillery and your Lycanroc, so Bloodthirsty Eyes might not seem that good. We only run 1 Field Blower, so... But you should not face all those decks in the same tournament in a row, so don't be scared. The good matchups it has: of course, Zoroark, you destroy that completely because you're a fighting type. Also, Volcanion, I find it to be kind of easy, I guess, because we can just, the opponent will have a bunch of Volcanion EXs on the bench, and just, you can use that Lycanroc to use Dangerous Rogue GX and bang, it's over. So this deck, definitely test it out and let me know. If you enjoyed the video, definitely show your support by destroying the like button. You always help out the channel a lot with that. And definitely check out the previous video where I talked about Naganadel GX. This GX will change your life completely, or actually your perspective on Ultra Beast. So definitely check that video. Should be credited after this video. You'll see it. Just click it on it and you'll be notified. Anyway, this was Zapdos TCG. Thanks again for watching. See you guys soon. Peace out.